literally just came off watching the final episode of Attack on Titan. What was advertised as the final episode of Attack on Titan for the second time, but it's not the final episode. No fancy B-roll edits in this, no music, just straight up. If you've seen Jeremy Jahns before, that's what we're doing in this. Just a lot of jump cuts as to what is the final season of Attack on Titan Part 2. How was it? Was it good? Obviously, I'm assuming you know by now, this was not the end. Part 3 is gonna be a thing. We're not gonna get a movie. We're not gonna get a TV special. We are getting, well, I mean, it could turn into a TV special, but we're gonna get a part 3. It sounds like it would just be like 9 episodes, so that could be the shortest core ever, or maybe they'll extend it to make it 12 episodes. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. But it's Tony from Westside Otaku, who is a big fan of Attack on Titan. Just know that Attack on Titan's final season has really made this show what I've said before, just beyond what I could imagine the show would have ever have become, from it just being about humanity being eaten by giant creatures and finding out what the heck they are, to just a story that is so damn morally conflicting with, in the end, conflict will just never be solved because everybody is going to have different perspectives that aren't gonna line up. And that's just actual reality that hits at home so hard. Part 1, which is just part of this whole thing, did it far better. I had a whole video about that's why I'm just doing the talking head one, because I went fancy pantsy writing it out there and the video didn't do well. So I'm just gonna talk to you and we'll see how this one does. But part 1 had a lot of different conflicts and a lot of different character introductions and a lot of background on characters and why they're fighting for what they're fighting for. And this season, this part, that's gonna get annoying so fast. This part has really been kind of just the aftermath. It was like a sandwich where, I mean, obviously you've seen it, so spoilers, if for whatever reason you're watching this and you haven't seen Attack on Titan, please stop this video and watch it. If you haven't watched Attack on Titan, it might not be for you. It's not going to be for everybody, but I'm just telling you, when you see a show on IMDb and its episodes are up there with Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, and Chernobyl, that means something. So just go watch it. Spoilers from this point forward. Stop this video, put in your watch later, and then come back. You can always just come back. But this part really just was a sandwich of a big-ass conflict that felt super final. Like, the way this starts off, it felt super final with how every character is in play. Every character, literally, and just fighting and shit, except Levi and Hanji. They were off in the background, trying to make sure our favorite cool boy doesn't die. Then that huge conflict is followed by just aftermath of what are we going to choose to do now that Eren has activated the rumbling? And then you end it with the past couple episodes, which is people choosing the people that were closest to Eren. We have to stop him. We have to stop the main character from giving us the freedom we have always wanted. That is one of the most dramatically satisfying ideas I have never seen been done in a show before. There's one that I can think of that I don't even want to say the name because I've already heard it be compared to this thing's ending a lot, which kind of spoils it for me, so I don't want to tell you. But that idea is just so satisfying, to know that the protagonist of the show is the main bad guy in the end. Well, main thing to stop, because there really isn't any bad guys in this show, period. Shout out to Joey Strike, who's a lovely patron of mine, who is a big fan of the Jaegerists, you know? But he was on our Discord, and he was just super sad that, you know, the Jaegerists failed, and they died, and didn't have that heroic death and whatnot. But the thing is don't bash on Joey here, because that's how people might feel. There might be some people that are really into what the Marleyans were doing, and you get the flashback as to how the king of Eldia was kind of a dick. It's weird because he was painted in this all right light, but then you see this flashback with Ymir and you're like, was he actually a pretty big piece of shit? And then of course you have the Paradis people who just have known nothing but fear their whole life in being trapped in this place. There is no side to really take in this, and that's why I say Eren's not really the main bad guy per se in the end, but he's just the person that's going to cause the most hurt. That's really it. He is the person that's going to cause the most hurt because of what he believes, but also what he has seen. My patron Discord, we have been talking about this show every week, so that's a plug-in. You know, next season we're going to have multiple shows we're watching there. And there's folks in there that are just like, oh, this will mark history in anime, and that is revealing the whole time scenario that is Eren has seen this all and has kind of manipulated things even back in time with this father, and they're like, this is going to make anime history. And yet it's not in those top 10 episodes of IMDb. But the significance of this episode can't be understated because it literally shapes everything moving forward. Eren secretly kind of controlled and shaped every event that has happened in this show thanks to that episode, as well as other acts that he was doing behind the scenes of part 1 that we saw in this final episode. This final episode really gave us time to be with Eren again because we haven't really been with Eren for this whole season. Hell, I would even, this entire season. I was going to say just this part, but really, this entire season, Eren's been there, but this was finally the episode to really experience things through his perspective and what he is feeling and seeing potentially. I think there's still a lot more we don't know. And what was really crazy about this part is that Eren's really barely present in it. Like just the beginning, and even then he feels like he is the MacGuffin. Like Eren's literally the MacGuffin because he's the founding Titan. And it was just like the most craziest, biggest, wildest stakes game of Oddball from Halo. Like that's basically what happened at the beginning of the show. And at the end of it, we finally get to hear Eren talk. We finally get to see his perspective. And we finally get to see the rumbling. The moment the rumbling was activated, it was dramatic, it was epic, but the thing I have been waiting to see is its actual lethality, its actual force, and that's what we get to see the beginnings of in this last episode. I wish we could have saw it go a little bit further, but of course they have to do their cliffhanger endings, so now that I know that there's a part 3, I do kind of wish they ended this show potentially with the last episode before this newest final one, because that would have been kind of like a big bang episode to end on, as well as dramatic, and it's not, you know, a clean, happy ending at all, in fact, because things are very desperate. But we know there's going to be more. And then this episode happens, and it would have been a pretty powerful one to start next season off with to remind us the stakes, to remind us what's happening, instead of just kicking it off as if nothing was going on. I don't know. I really would have understood if they left this episode to be the first episode of part 3. But no, just a dread cliffhanger ending. That heat, man, I really always underestimate how the heat of the Colossal Titans is a force in itself. Like, because I was thinking that, you know, like if they step and stomp on the world afar, what if some people dodge the footsteps? Well, they'll get taken in by all the freaking heat that is the steam of these guys. It could be a video in itself, but hands down, my 2 favorite moments of the entire season is not the time paradox. It is not the rumbling. It's, believe it or not, the simple and quiet moment that is the entirety of just everybody coming together and putting all their emotions and problems with each other on the table. I love that episode because it's just about the characters, and they have to put these things on the table to work together. And the other favorite episode, and it probably is my favorite episode, is, I think it's called Brothers. Two Brothers, which is when Zeke turns everybody into Titans. Like that episode, I think that is potentially one of the best episodes of Attack on Titan because of how the pacing of it just flows. It has a lot of epic moments. It's super sad because you straight up, it seems like you're losing a great handful of characters. Every character is fighting, and then you even get to meet Ymir, the founding Titan girl. That episode from top to bottom is hands down my highlight, and you might have a different one. That's totally fine. And now we have to wait a whole other year. Maybe it could be sooner because it might be less than 10 episodes based off of what I hear from manga readers. I don't know. Or maybe they extend it. I'm just glad it's not a movie though, because this way everybody's included. Nobody that is in like America or Europe or whatever that isn't in Japan when they aired in theaters misses out. And we also won't get spoilers from the people that see it first. And also people aren't locked behind the movie ticket. It's just if they have a subscription or see it on TV, there you go. It was great to be able to talk with the patrons though about this, to which if you want to support the channel, you could find that in the description, where you get access to our Discord where we talk about seasonal anime, as well as you can request reviews and more discussions. If you want to join that, then go to the description where I might not have talked about a certain moment in the anime, and you could request a podcast about that there. Or for free, just leave a comment, because I love to talk with you down there. Open forum about the show. Don't forget to be geek, be proud, be awesome. Thanks for watching.